Hi guys, I'm Mike.
And I'm Stephen.
And this is F1 Fanatics. So guys, welcome back to your Fantasy Weekly show. And yeah, it is a return for Stephen.
I'm back.
He's back. Did you receive that apology letter from Sebastian Vettel?
Yeah.
And
he's a nice guy.
Is that why you decided?
Yeah, I thought, okay, I'll come back.
Okay, all right. So
Past
you know,
is in the past.
I think you guys are glad to have back. It doesn't work F1 Fantasy Weekly without a duo co-host. I felt very lost by myself last week, and I'm sure you guys did too. But anyway, guys, this is your place where you can get all your F1 Fantasy news of the official F1 Fantasy game that's run. We go through, in a show like this, our preview ahead of the race this weekend at Suzuka, who we think will perform well, our maybe turbo picks for this weekend, who we think is going to make our teams this weekend. We'll discuss who we think probably will do well in the league. And yeah, just all things fantasy in terms of a preview ahead of this week's race at Suzuka, guys. Don't forget, if you are new around here, you can subscribe to the channel, click the bell notification, and you can keep up to date with all our latest content and more videos just like this. And we will start off with how we usually start off the game, and the show. And the show is Explaining the Game, which is basically F1 Fantasy is a classic kind of sports fantasy game. You have a 100 million budget. Within that 100 million budget, you get to select 5 drivers and 1 constructors. They will score you points over the course of a weekend, during qualifying and the race, and if your points add up over the top, then you have a chance of topping your individual leagues against your mates, or in the global one, who we have the Death Eaters in our league, who is currently top of the global one. So impressive for him. He might be in with a chance of winning a trip to the Grand Prix next year. But yes, guys, that is what F1 Fantasy is, and we are here to kind of guide you through your fantasy world, as long as it's Formula 1 related.
Your fantasy world.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah, your fantasy world. Nice and cheesy there. As long as it's Formula 1 related, we're not getting into any other fantasy worlds. No, that's not us. Definitely don't listen to me on football fantasy. But yes, this weekend we have Suzuka, Stephen. Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, should be good. Should be red flag in the first couple of laps, and that's the race.
No, it's black flag for cancelled. Red flag just stops the race.
Yeah, red flag, yeah.
Okay.
Then you bring out the black flag.
Okay.
Yeah. All
right, red flag, then black flag. Why we are saying this, not just because we think there will be carnage, is because, well, there probably will be carnage, because there is, from weather reports, looking a typhoon that will hit Japan this weekend. And typhoons are bad.
It's going to be rain. It's going to be lightning. High winds.
I mean, what was the weather forecast that I sent you?
It's going to be carnage. It's bad.
It's going to be Hockenheim on steroids.
Yeah.
It's going to be seriously wet.
Yeah.
But I suppose it wouldn't have the carnage of Hockenheim, because Hockenheim was kind of in that, is it dry enough? Is it wet enough? And it was when to go onto slicks, and which caused a lot of trouble. Although this one could just be driving through a paddling pool.
Full on full wet race.
Yeah, could well be, and we haven't seen the full wets.
So there's probably not
going
to be any surprises.
Might be.
Like
spin outs, still dangerous conditions.
No,
to
there's
drive
not going to be like a Kvyat on podium.
Not a Carlos Sainz.
No.
All right, fair enough. There you go. You heard it there from Stephen. It's going to be wet, but it's going to be boring.
Well, I didn't say boring, but I don't think the Born teams are going to put out a pit strategy that's going to work.
Okay. It's just wet.
Yeah, it's just wet.
Just wet. But yeah, we will bring it back to a kind of fantasy perspective. So, yeah, thinking of drivers and teams who are going to do well this week. And if it's going to be wet, then you can't really look past 2 drivers, in my opinion, and that is Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen.
Yeah. Verstappen drove very well at Hockenheim, changeable conditions, and Lewis is just king of the rain at the moment.
Of the current
in
grid.
The current pack.
Yeah, in the current pack, Lewis Hamilton is king of the rain.
Right.
Vettel did also drive very well in the rain at Hockenheim.
Yeah, from the back to third.
Yeah, so that if there is rain, that might be your podium right there.
But there is Hockenheim a favourite track of Phil.
Unfinished business he had there.
Yeah.
Of the previous year.
So.
Yeah. And obviously Vettel spun out in Suzuka last year.
With a helping hand, albeit not Verstappen's fault.
Yeah, admittedly so. But yeah, I think in terms of the top teams and drivers, I think Merc is probably a safe bet here.
Yeah.
Ferrari in dry conditions, I think, would probably be top of the field again.
Yeah.
But in wet conditions, I think the Merc's probably better suited, and that Ferrari car is harder to handle. Because Leclerc had all sorts of troubles with it, didn't he? And obviously crashing out in Hockenheim.
Yeah, he didn't have a great race. He went out at the drag strip, didn't he?
Yeah, so constructors and I think probably drivers would be to look at Verstappen and Hamilton would be your kind of top drivers to look at. In kind of looking below that, McLaren, Carlos Sainz.
Yeah, you like Sainz for the wet races, don't you? You think he's a good bet?
I mean, he still managed to finish 5th after spinning out and literally facing the wall.
He had a very bad first half of that race.
But then a very good second half.
Yeah.
And obviously that McLaren car is the best of the rest. I think Carlos Sainz, I might even steer away from Albon this weekend and make Sainz my turbo driver. Mm-hmm. I think Albon, it was his first time out in the rain, wasn't it? In Hockenheim.
Yeah.
And if it's meant to be as bad as it is...
Well, it's going to be worse, probably.
Yeah, I think he could struggle.
Well, he did all right in Hockenheim.
Yeah, he did all right, but I mean, he could struggle.
Yeah, okay.
And that's why I was
You want to get experience?
Yeah, I mean, we won't go on to the turbo driver section yet, but those two are obviously in the mix again.
Yeah.
Renaults, do we see anything happening from Renault?
Well, they've had a positive second half of the season, I feel.
They have.
The car's improving. And I don't want to, I've said Danny Rick for the last 2 races, but... Danny Rick last year, very good Suzuka.
Yeah, realistically, without the penalty and without the problem with their first lap collision at Sochi, he probably would have had very good races and beaten Hulkenberg in both, wouldn't he?
In Singapore and Sochi, yeah. He just got unlucky.
So, and obviously Sainz was unlucky, so that could mean that Danny Rick comes back and has a strong performance.
Yeah.
And I think basically what we're saying is anyone.
It's a wet race.
Anyone's up for grabs.
It's very difficult to predict.
Apart from Williams.
Yeah, okay.
Although...
No.
No?
They did get a point, didn't they, in Hockenheim? They survived.
But they only got a point because of the Alfa Romeo's double penalty.
But their reliabilities as well hasn't been as strong. What, Sochi double retirement?
It was. They retired to save parts and for safety concerns.
And
for Kubica, and obviously Russell just had a brake failure, I think it was. Haas in the dry conditions, I was going to back them. K-Mag might have been an okay one to turbo again, but in the wet, I just don't see that Haas car doing okay.
No, I think they've pretty much run off this season.
Yeah.
Haas will be a struggle to pick, because that's why they picked Grosjean, because they want the car for next year. If they were competing this year, they would have gone Hulkenberg.
So yeah, because they would have then built on a second successive season doing well, but it's because how far they've gone backwards, they just kind of need things simple and get the car right first, and in 2021 they'll go in a new direction.
Yeah.
I reckon.
So yeah, don't touch Haas.
I think for me, looking at both our teams, it's pretty much identical. Apart from I've got Bottas over Leclerc.
I haven't made my changes yet.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't made them either.
Oh.
But for me, I think a big talking point for fantasy this week, if you've got them, is between Danny Rick or Sergio Perez. Because obviously Sergio Perez has had a very good second half of the season, and only that engine failure at Singapore has cost him from having all points finishes so far.
Hockenheim.
The finger is out. The pause has been made.
Hockenheim, he crashed out, didn't he?
First lap. First retirement.
Yes.
I mean, I don't see how that's relevant.
But that's going to be easy conditions compared to what Suzuka could be.
Yeah, but that was first half of the season where Sergio Perez was off the boil. This is second half. This is Sergio reborn. This is 5-year deal, Sergio. This is Sergio, leader of the Mexican people.
He's a gamble.
He's a gamble. Ricardo, the safe bet.
You want to. This week's all about picking the drivers who could handle the wet weather.
What about Kimi Räikkönen then?
Well,
he's had a nightmare second half of the season so far, but the Alpha hasn't been too far off the pace. Sochi, it was only because Giovinazzi was the only one involved, and Kimi Räikkönen just had a terrible weekend.
Yeah.
So.
And in Singapore, I didn't have great. But the experience is there. The wet weather driving is there.
And my Kimi moment of the week might actually play a part in this decision.
Oh.
Curveball, stay tuned. Do not tune out of this. Stay for the Kimi moment of the week. Please stay.
Yeah. Because that could affect the whole predictions.
It could do.
Turbo Kimi. Wait.
What?
The what?
Maybe.
Who knows?
Who knows? I think we're gone off target. But Turbo brings on to probably quite nicely the next point, and I think probably that rounds off a look at the team. So we're going Merck, probably safe constructor.
Safe bet, yeah.
Lewis and Max for the kind of big drivers. Sainz, Albon, if you've still got him, is probably safe. And then you're looking at probably the Ricardo's, Perez regions as an outside shot to do well. Maybe a Giovinazzi, cost effective.
What about Lance Stroll?
Lance Stroll actually could do well because he is the man that within chaos seems to avoid all chaos and gets the car round.
I think Lance Stroll over Perez, I'm feeling.
That could be a very cost effective region. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
But it's a wet race, it's very difficult, but yeah.
Go with your gut.
So, but those are our top drivers. Onto the turbos, I guess.
Yeah, onto the turbos. And
touched on. But...
we kind of did. For me, I think I'm going to turbo Carlos Sainz this week.
Yeah.
I think he's due a good points return. And like I said, I feel he's more experienced, and now that he's got back into the groove a bit after that fantastic drive in Sochi, that this could be the drive where he beats Alexander Albon.
Beating Alexander.
But I realise Alexander Albon has got me huge points returns for this second half of the season and been great for me.
He's been a great turbo, yeah. Yeah, possibly with that experience. But Albon has the better car. He's making use of that better car.
I'm just going to warrant Albon's lack of experience here. I feel there could be a mistake in him.
Yeah, okay. I see that.
Any other turbo picks?
Well,
Lance Stroll. Second week in a row. Lance Stroll, 100 points. Lance Stroll. No. Well, I think he could be not 100 points. That's what I meant. But I think he could, as an outside turbo, he could be quite a good bet.
Yeah. If you want to go big, you could go Lance Stroll. But I'm probably going to turbo Danny Rick. You could have just got a clip of me over the last 3 predictions going, I'm going to turbo Danny Rick. Because of his experience. Should play the same clip.
and then for your kind of outside bet?
Who would I go for an outside bet?
Kimi.
I'm thinking.
All right, they don't have all day.
I'm thinking Roman.
Roman.
Grosjean.
The French man.
Grosjean. Well, where did he finish in Sochi? He got points finished, didn't he?
Sochi. He got taken out on the first lap.
No, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm getting muddled here.
Don't-
Last year, he finished 8th at Suzuka.
Correct. He did well. He qualified well at Suzuka too.
He has the experience to drive in wet conditions.
Well, you heard it here, guys. Our kind of season motto of avoid Haas and definitely avoid Roman Grosjean. And Stephen is going against the odds, and you're outside your house or wherever you're listening to this, or if you're outside
of the world.
If you're outside listening to this, you're outside the atmosphere of planet Earth. Roman Grosjean is your man to pick.
Look, you asked me for an outside pick, and I feel there's some.
Yeah, but I didn't want you to sabotage
He
people.
likes Suzuka,
Yeah.
and he has the experience. So
Okay,
my
right.
outside bet, Roman Grosjean. If
Viva
anyone's got him in the
Viva
team.
la revolution, if anyone has got him in the team. In fact, transfer him in this week.
No.
Okay,
If you've got him.
let's
I
not.
think it'll be quite fun to turbo him.
Okay, if you got him, fun to turbo
Don't
him.
bring him in.
Don't bring him in. We don't want to be held responsible for that one. Okay. That pretty much rounds up the turbo section. Wow. I mean, yeah, previews are generally a little bit shorter. Is there anything else we need to maybe mention? I mean, I feel there are streaks, but I can't remember the streaks off the top of my head.
Bear with me.
Bear with. Wait for this small little interlude in proceedings.
Cool. Just talk amongst yourselves, you know. Here we go. So, well, we've got Sochi's streaks. So, who would be on? Hulkenberg?
Hulkenberg finished outside the points.
Scratch that. No one's on for a streak.
What about Vettel in qualifying? No.
No, because he would have got that.
Yep. Well, that's boring.
And that's the streaks over.
And that's the streak section. It was well worth the wait, guys. Glad you enjoyed the return.
Constructors, Merck's on for a race streak.
Oh.
Ferrari's on for a quali and race streak, so maybe Ferrari.
Bring in the Ferrari.
Red Bull's on for a quali
streak.
And McLaren's on for a quali as well.
Yep, McLaren on for a quali streak.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go. There's constructor streaks.
Ferrari's looking good. For
Bring in
streaks.
Ferrari.
Whoa. Yeah. Well, good to get streaks.
Yeah, what's wrong with you? Bring in Ferrari.
If it's a Merc one too, and then it's like,
Bring in Ferrari.
okay.
We've got to give advice here, Stephen.
Yeah, okay. Bring in Ferrari.
Okay, we're bringing in Ferrari. Right, okay, and then that probably rounds up there. So that means there is only one way that we could possibly finish a fancy weekly, and that was with the Kimi moment of the week. And I'm glad all you guys have stayed tuned to find out what the Kimi moment of the week is this week. And drum roll, please, Stephen. Fantastic, superb, brilliant drum roll. It is one of my favourite Kimi Räikkönen moments, which is his 2005 race win in Suzuka, where he started in 17th and claimed first on the last lap. overtaking Juan Carlo Fisichella to win the race. So talking about that experience around Suzuka, Kimi is a man with it, with strong performances. I think he finished... I mean, he didn't finish great last year. I think he was 5th.
Yeah.
But, you know, he is a man who's won at Suzuka in the rain as well. He's very good in kind of slippy conditions. I think Kimi Räikkönen is your guy to turbo.
Okay.
What a way
Kimi.
What a way to round off an F1 Fantasy Weekly. The question is, do I switch out Mercedes to bring in Ferrari?
For Romeo.
Or do I bring in Kimi Räikkönen for Sergio Perez and turbo him?
Oh. Now that's a question. Well, I've just been downplaying Perez's chances.
Yeah.
So
maybe.
I would go for Kimi for Perez.
Bring back Kimi Love. Okay. As you would have known a few weeks ago, Kimi Love is the new dating app that Kimi Räikkönen is sporting, as Kimi finds love for all. That would be quite good, advert for it. Anyway, right, got distracted
Sponsored.
again. Yeah, this is a sponsored video. No, this is not. We are no way big enough to be sponsored. But one day, Kimi will believe in us.
Kimi, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, that has been another F1 Fantasy Weekly podcast. We hope you enjoy. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below with your picks for this weekend, your kind of ideas ahead of this F1 Fantasy. Stephen, are you any last one? Anything to kind of mention in the comments?
Turbo Grosjean.
Turbo Grosjean. There you go. What do you think of the Turbo Grosjean pick? Is it a bold move that could pay off, or is it just...
It's an outside pick.
It's an outside pick.
Like, if anyone turbos it in our league, and next show I see it, I'm going to... Yeah, it's respect.
You get a shout out.
Yeah.
Although pretty much everyone gets a shout out. But you'll get an extra shout out.
Yeah. I'll give you like a round of applause.
Yeah, Stephen will give you a round of applause.
Even if he crashes out, I respect the Turbo Grosjean. He's a gamble.
Respect. Anyway, guys, that has been another F1 Fantasy Weekly podcast. Don't forget, if you are new around here, subscribe to the channel, click that bell notification, and you can have more amazing videos just like this. And I will also leave in the description and on screen a couple of videos as well. You can check out who we think is better, Kevin Magnussen or Roman Grosjean, and also when we went back to Silverstone and saw the British touring cars. But you F1 fans, keep racing.